Welcome to the Theater of Others podcast. My name is Adam Marple, and I'm the co-artistic director of the Theater of Others. With the COVID-19 pandemic forcing a shutdown and reevaluation of space and gathering, we at the Theater of Others are thinking about what stories we need and how best we can share them. We believe space is psychology, and it informs the way in which an audience interacts and reacts to what is presented to them. We create uniquely theatrical events in bespoke sensory performance spaces crafted to encourage curiosity and grant the audience permission to commune with the play. Now that space has moved online, how can we encourage interaction and action amongst an audience virtually? The Theater of Others produces plays that both welcome and challenge the audience. We are committed to international collaboration and are a laboratory that helps artists grow through intensive study of their craft. The Theater of Others creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purpose of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question, to join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task, and it requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? On the podcast today from Melbourne, Australia, are co-artistic directors Budi Miller and myself in Cairo, Egypt. This podcast contains explicit language.
Hi, Adam.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? Are you okay?
it's, it's just that my hair is pulled so tight. I think I'm about to lose consciousness. That's why I look 20 years younger. It's like I have keys on the side of my head. I've just twisted the keys because I've gone shushnan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's gone shushnan ponytail. It's going back and forth. Ooh.
You're lightheaded. Yeah, exactly. Watch out. You're going full Chikwudi Iwuji from Guardians of the Galaxy 3 here. Yeah.
Is that racist? Are you being racist?
No, it's a character.
You call me Chikwudi Iwuji?
Wow, that's racist. That's racist.
I'm gonna pass out, Adam. It's because my hair's tied too tight. It's because my hair's tied too tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is. Michelle Kwan.
Don't start with me. Do not start with me, mister.
Mm-mm.
I am not a racist.
Mm-mm.
I am not a racist. I have Asian friends. I read Asian books.
Books. Just books.
I have Asian pedagogies.
Mm-hmm. It's what anti-racists always say.
I'm an anti-racist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fighting the big fight. Do you know? What? You don't believe
Nothing.
me? What?
I wholeheartedly believe you. I know you. I feel
Maybe I
you.
should take it. I think I should take either a Tylenol or a Panadol or some sort of. I'm feeling a little dizzy.
Can you just like let it down a little bit?
No, it's cute. It's too cute to let it down. Look at. I was so proud.
Yeah,
I was so. Look at it.
This is the payment for fashion. I know.
It's got the knot, and it looks amazing. We can see my hair tie. It's a yellow hair tie, but it's okay. I whip my ponytail back and forth. I whip my ponytail. Oh shit, my hair is gonna fall out if I keep doing this shit. I need to keep my hair.
You're gonna be that. Was that video of that girl who
oh my god
laughs and her weave falls out?
Oh my god! She's like, and God, you always know. Oh my God, nigga.
and the
I
guy
can't
who's
even reach it. She said,
the guy who's interviewing her like wants to laugh so much, but he knows that he can't laugh.
wants to laugh. He's losing it. He's falling back in his chair. I think you
Yeah,
definitely have to put that in the
that'll
show
be in the show
notes.
notes. That'll
That
be in the show
is,
notes.
oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, nigga. And she's like reaching behind the couch, and she's reaching behind the couch, and she's like, I can't even reach it.
It's way down there.
And then she takes it out and shakes it, gets it back into shape.
Oh God.
Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Why can't we go that viral?
I mean, I need you to lose your shit right now. I need you to do something that goes viral for us.
Oh my, I just had an idea. When that video of like when the director says do something interesting. What is it?
Right, exactly. Make a bold choice.
Make a bold choice.
Okay.
With a bottle of milk.
Yeah.
Carton
Nice. Good. Yes. Excellent. Wonderful. Yes. Go there. Yes. Yes.
I really want to shoot a horror film at our house. We have all the makings for a really good horror film.
Okay.
I've already spoken to Adrian and Austin. Adrian's working on it. It's happening, y'all. There's going to be a horror film in Emerald in the forest, and I'm going to be the lead.
Great. Fantastic.
I'm going to be the bad guy because I'm always the good guy.
Okay. So this is a horror film from the bad guy's perspective.
This is a horror film from the bad guy's perspective.
Okay. Cool.
Like Dexter. I'm going to be a black Dexter.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'm going to be a black Hannibal with a little Chianti. With the little Chianti.
Cool.
That's a little ASMR for y'all.
Yep.
What does that sound like, Adam?
We'll be demonetized if I tell you what it sounds like.
We got money. We got money.
We want money. One day.
Oh.
One day we'll strive for.
Where is love? Money makes the world go round, the world go round.
Stop it.
Okay, it's out. These are not the words you're looking for.
Oh, good. That's a sound that Jack was looking for. He needed a sound to talk about the past.
Yeah, those are Jack's favorite transition sounds.
Yeah.
There you go, Jack. You're welcome. It's like Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
Yeah, you're just all the sound effects just done by you.
I'm a loner and a rebel.
I'm a rebel, Dottie. A loner. I'm a rebel, Dottie.
What's Pee Wee Herman most famous for? Other than his dance.
I think
other than his costume.
It was a trip to a movie theater is what he's most famous for.
Is that going to be in the show notes?
Well, I mean, I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, actually.
We did?
Oh, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Yeah.
What was the topic?
I don't know, but we were talking about Pee Wee, and I had to do a lot of research. It happened in Florida.
Someone buried it, huh?
It's down in there somewhere. So
it happened in Florida?
Florida. Everything happens in Florida.
Everything bad happens in Florida.
I don't think we have any listeners in Florida, so we can talk bad about Florida. It's okay.
I mean, seriously. Well, we might actually be the saviors to those people in Florida.
Yeah, probably. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, wow. Look. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, nice face, Adam. Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Yeah. That's such a good old boy face. You never do your good old boy face.
Yeah.
Because you have your glasses on. You look, the glasses make you look intelligent, make
Exactly.
you
That's why I
look
have them.
kind,
Yeah.
professorial.
Hmm. That's why I've got them. That's why I wear them. They're a mask.
Well, objects can be a mask.
They can be. Yes, they can be a mask. They can be many things.
Hmm.
Hmm.
They could, couldn't they?
Hmm.
Hmm. Pray tell. Did I just? No. Did I?
You did.
That was low hanging fruit.
Yeah, that was easy. That was easy. That was no big deal.
Okay, I'll try different. I'll try different. I'll try different. I'll try different. So, Adam.
Mm,
So, is
mm.
that a new microphone you're using?
No, same old, same old.
Same old, same old.
Yeah.
Oh, I can only see the tip, so I can't tell if it's. Oh, wow! That just totally changed the whole mood. Wow, you look so official. Wait, bring it back in. Bring it back in. Yeah, there we go. We're sorry, there, right there. No, you mean okay? Now it is an alien that's attacking. That's attacking you. It's like, oh, it has become. It has now become a part of the show.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary conforming individuals, please welcome to the stage Adam Marple's microphone. Yay! Can you hear me? Is this thing on? Is this thing is this thing is this thing on? Is this thing on? So, Adam,
Yes.
that's a better segue for you. How's that? Do you like that
That's
one?
great. Sure. Perfect. Whatever.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about objects. We're talking about props or
L'objet,
properties.
les objets.
Hmm.
So, objects, I mean,
Yes.
that's pretty abstract.
Broad.
Objects,
Yeah.
broad. What pray tell are we trying to talk about? Why have we run out of topics? Is that what it is? Have we run out of topics?
Yes. And we're looking for topics, folks. Please help us out.
Seriously. Why objects? Why are objects so important to us theater people?
Well, more than anything else, for I would say the performer, it's the one design element that a performer, an actor, actually gets to manipulate and use. I mean, an actor gets their costume so late in the process, and
Mm,
very rarely is an actor or performer using the scenography and the space around them because they're changing. And lights, of course, as well. There's very little manipulation there, but a prop, an object, an item is usually in the rehearsal room from day one in the rehearsal process. And there are
if
objects
you're
and there are moments,
lucky.
if you're lucky. I mean, we call them rehearsal props,
Yeah.
but there's so many things, there's so many character things that are associated around these objects. The skull in Hamlet, uh, you know, uh, the crutch in Richard III. I mean, there are things that characters are defined by some objects, or characters are objects if we want to think about masks or
Mm.
puppets in some ways.
Well, and or even like a robot.
Yes, the robot theater that is
Megan.
so in vogue.
Did somebody say Vogue? What are you looking at? Sorry, you just activated my shush nine ponytail. I'm sorry. My shush nine got activated. It got
Okay.
activated. I'm sorry. but like, but this is the thing. When you talk about okay, so I think what needs to happen is we need to define the different realms in which objects uh service us, provide like opportunities for our imaginations. They
Hmm.
they they tell the story. It makes me go back to thinking about like when Galtney talks about when Edward Bond said the whole spilled soup
Yeah.
scenario for a play. If
Spilling blood is easy. Spilling soup is hard.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but then you've got to have that bowl of soup. What does that bowl of soup mean? What relationship do I have to this object? And
Yeah.
then but like when we talk about rehearsal object versus performance object, and if you're in a situation where you're in a production where the design team, which is rare, or uh, uh, the tech team doesn't understand how important a particular object is for an actor to get it to them as soon
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it happens. It
Yeah.
happens. It does happen.
Yeah.
And it's like as an actor, you if you like, for example, if you have a child, if it's a baby, like Aaron, when I played Aaron the Moore, when I had to have a baby, I had to have a child,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
needed to have the actual prop that was going to be the baby in the show, and I fought for it. And they were like, just take care of it. I said, of course I'm going to take care of it. It's my baby. It's like
Yeah.
one of those, like, in the high school when you have to, like, you have an egg and you have to take care of an egg. It was precious in that way.
Yeah.
Very precious.
Yeah.
Because the reason why is because when you're working with objects, you have to give them as much time to seep into your imagination especially if it's a child. So it's
Mm.
it's another character. It's literally another character in the play, and you
Yeah.
have to treat it that way.
You have to
But if
endow it. You have to give it the energy that it needs. That it doesn't exist. The energy doesn't exist on its own. The energy comes from you, from your attention. Yeah.
well, okay, so what would you define? From this context of how we're using the word object, how would you define it?
Um. I mean, it is so broad. Anything that is extraneous to the performer's body that tells a story.
Extraneous.
Yeah, outside, external to their body. So, like, their hands are not an object, but something that's in their hands is an object. Something that is external to themselves that they need to tell a story.
Mm. So, how do you feel about an audition when an actor brings an object in,
Oh man.
like a sword?
Okay, it depends. It depends. I left no ring with her. Holding a ring is one thing. I had an actor come in with like 22 by fours and a hammer and some nails and
What?
started building something in an audition. This is the one that I remember more than anything else because all I could think of was like, the fuck is he building? And what's he gonna do when
What was
he's
the
done building
monologue?
it?
What was the monologue?
No clue. No clue. I don't remember anything except for him building, banging a hammer and nails and two by fours and thinking, and like going like, how long is this monologue gonna go? What is he
Well, how
building?
long is the monologue? Yeah, exactly, because it takes a time to build.
Yeah,
How much did it get build? Build
I
build
think
it,
we.
did it,
I
did it.
think build it. I think we stopped
Yeah.
him. I think we said thank you.
Uh
Oh, thank you. So it
oh
was
God.
so like yeah, that's too much. But
That's being upstaged by the object.
yes, exactly. You're not using the object. The object is using you. Like. But if you've got like
Ooh, that sounds
I left
naughty.
I left a letter. Here's the letter, or something like that. Then yeah, that's it. It helps to tell the story. It is needed in that moment to tell the story. But I'm also of the opinion that we use too many objects in the theater. We're trying to
Mm.
be overly naturalistic when we don't need to be, versus a more minimalist approach, which I appreciate, which is make it vitally important. And
How do you
so,
feel about naturalism these days, Adam, on the stage?
why? Why? I
Yeah.
mean, I think film and TV do it so much better.
Yeah.
Why are we trying to compete with it? It's not what we do best.
Yeah.
I feel like we're cheating the audience of an experience
Yeah.
if we're not theatrical.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. But like when we go back to the object scenario, it's like, well, what objects? How do you? Why do you? What do you think that makes it an object essential for storytelling? What would be the defining thing? Like, say, if like a playwright is like uh working on a piece and there's an object in the actual scene. Why would it need to be there? How would you even because I know you like to love you just love to cut things out. I know you. So
Mhm.
like what would make an object have value? Give me an example. With
I
or
mean,
without it.
it's the necessity. It's like if it's cut, does it still make sense? without miming, without pantomiming or trying to uh, replace the object with nothingness. Do I need do I need that thing? Does it make sense to not have that thing? If I say, oh, I've dropped a glass on the floor and there is no glass on the floor, then does the story now become in the audience's mind, why isn't there a glass? Versus, whatever. There's a difference between, when Shakespeare says, imagine the forest, and we can go, I can do that, sure. Look at the trees. Yes, I see, I do that. But like, you know, ha, I've stabbed you in the belly with my knife.
This is interesting because it it expands out into the realm of what makes a really strong clown trick, because clown lives in the physical, and
Yeah,
if you don't show us what you're playing with and rely on us to try to psychologically agree to
right,
how you feel about something,
right.
we don't know how to play with you.
Yeah,
It's a visual medium, and I think the prop and the object in clown world is so important, because that is what contains the emotional content and the relationship to the clown's body. So when you're talking about, like, like I'm dropping a glass on the floor, that means you're a mime, not a clown.
right.
We laugh because you dropped the glass on the floor. We want to see the glass drop on the floor,
Yeah,
right? And we want to see it be plastic, and you treat it like it's like, you know a
precious.
crystal. Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's where the game ensues, right? So it's like objects can actually um be necessary for the exploit of what you're exploiting in your uh, storytelling. And
mm,
it's like a lot of people aren't even thinking about, you know, what exactly am I? What's the provocation here? How am I? What am I? What's the exploitation that I'm going to make someone lean in?
mm,
When I talk about exploit, I'm talking about it in the sense of, like, well, we're normally going to assume in this direction, so I'm going to exploit how you're interacting with whatever I'm working with, and the exploit is that it's being used in a way that you don't expect it to be used, or the story's
right.
being told in a way you don't expect to be told. That's why, when I'm watching television, or a film or a play, and I'm looking, and I'm just watching the different sequences, and if what I imagine is going to happen next happens, I go,
Yeah, you get ahead of it, of course.
mm. And objects are really good ways to distract. It's
Yeah,
it's a really great way to control the eye of where you want the audience to be. You can have someone doing something with an object, and that's going to actually take over the attention, while something else is happening on the other side of the stage, because the audience is going to want to see what's happening with what's going on with the object.
mm,
Like juggling or balancing something. It's like, oh, it's gonna fall, and then you could be doing something on the other end that's quite, that's like, it looks like a sleight of hand. you know just because as human beings, we get attached to them, in a Derrida kind of way. It's like these objects can actually have life inside of my imagination. They
yeah,
hold information, they hold
yeah.
story, they hold culture, and they hold a sense of play and the imagination. That's why, I just thought, when I when I, when I went to school in Paris. I think this is the time for me to show you my onesie. When I went to school in Paris. When I went to school in Paris. Yes, it's a camouflage hooded onesie,
Hmm.
because I didn't want you to see everything. I just wanted to just, like, reveal myself.
Mm,
We had to go to all the different museums. You know how colonial the museums are in Paris. We
yeah,
went to the Picasso Museum, and there's the famous bicycle sculpture that he created. You know, oh, he turned the bicycle, the seat, and the handlebars into a bull. Oh, genius! and he stole it from Africa. It's
Yeah.
like, but what I'm trying to say is that when we start to play with objects and move things around, they get another life, and we can change them, and they can grow and develop. I think that one of the things that I love um in like improvisation during the work, when someone has an object and that object becomes many different things.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
the world of the plastiques, right?
Yeah.
And status. It's like,
My favorite object to play with, and this is a debate, interesting debate of
keep it
what.
clean, Adam. Keep it clean.
No, no, it's when is an object and when is it scenery? It's all scenography, but
Mm,
when does who's in charge of that? And is the designer, the set designer, in charge of choosing chairs, or is the prop designer? But I love chairs as objects because two things. One, um, any object you put on stage instantly becomes the semiology for every version of that thing.
yeah,
A
yeah.
chair on stage is every chair that I have seen, because I have to go through my mind, my catalog, the Rolodex of my mind, and go, where have I seen this chair? What does this chair represent? Because without
Mm,
context, a chair is what I decide it's going to be.
mm,
The context becomes, how does an actor interact with that chair? Is that a throne or is that a toilet? I don't know until an actor comes
or
and
a
does something
drum.
with it. Or a drum, or a horse, or put two of them together, it's a train or a car. And that's what I love about that, is that on its own, it's everything. With an actor, it's only one thing.
I just had a memory of with the chair and Kool-Aid and wine, and it was you, Jack, and I trying to figure out what else to do with the chair. I said, "Well, it has four legs," and I and you and Jack were like, "No, Budi, no." I was like, "What?"
Nah, just let it be a chair.
Just let it be a chair. Just let it be a
Just let it be a chair. It's
chair.
just sit on it. Just sit on it. That's all it needs.
Just sit on it
There's
like
so
a
much
little
going
chair.
on. We don't need to.
Don't leave those legs alone. Leave those legs
Yeah.
alone. Well, well, I think when a object becomes set is it when does an object become set and
I
not prop?
I think it's
That's a good
about
question.
I think it's about interaction, and it's about, is it supposed to contain is it supposed to contain a world, or is it supposed to contain an idea? Maybe.
Or that does it belong to the space, or does it belong to the individual?
Yeah. Is it creating the the definition and the barriers of the world of this play, or is it filling in details of the world of this play? Maybe.
It's a double-edged sword because
Yeah, of
they
course it
both
is.
do
Yeah.
that, right?
They both, exactly. Yeah.
I
I
think it
interact
boils
with a
down, who's
door.
got the money
Okay.
for us to buy another chair?
No,
Props.
it comes down to, can I get this in the rehearsal room now? No, it's
Yeah,
scenery. Okay, great.
yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Exactly, exactly.
yeah.
Oh my, uh, I have to take my ponytail out. I'm, I, my eyes are gonna fall out of my head. This ponytail, I don't know how Madonna does it. Oh, oh, oh my God, this is so much better. Sorry, Adam. Oh my,
Don't
wow,
apologize
look at
to
how
me.
long my hair is. These braids, beautiful. That was like so needed to happen, though. I'm sorry, everyone. I, so is hair an object?
No. Well, I mean, it
A
could
wig
be.
is a wig object?
That would fall under. I mean, it gives, again, that falls under the typical purview of costumes. But it could be. I mean, it depends on, is that's what I was saying. Like, is it external to your body? If it's on you, it's a
So,
costume. Versus, you can make it an object. It can become a prop.
so the wigs in Color Museum, are they objects, sets, or costumes?
Yes. It depends. I mean, all three at different points in the piece.
Well, the particular, I'm actually thinking of the scene with when the two wigs are talking to the black girl who's trying to decide on whether to wear the afro wig or the blonde wig.
I would say they're props, objects,
I think
not
they're
not
props.
scenery, not scenery. It's
I
hard
think they're
costume
props.
though. It's hard.
But then what does
Yeah,
the puppet fall under?
object.
Yeah. So it fall in
I'd
the
say
realm of
object.
puppetry, right?
Yeah,
Unless you actually have black girls wearing the wigs, being the wigs,
then it's costume. Yeah,
then it's costume.
yeah.
I mean, so detailed these questions. All in the guise of objet, les
We're
objets.
we're asking the hard questions here on the Theater of Others podcast.
Okay, so what objects can do you not need that people have in plays that like even if it's written in there, do you have to have all the objects that are written in a play?
I had I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I had met Paula Vogel, amazing playwright Paula Vogel, and
I just
we
yawn. That yawn was for Julian Elijah
Julian
Martinez.
Elijah Martinez. Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Julian. Um, uh, had amazing conversation with Paula Vogel and asked her about uh, do we need as directors to do everything that the playwright says in the stage directions, because especially in the olden plays, stage directions are basically the stage manager's prompt book turned into the published version. So it's usually
Mm,
uh, the first premiere of the play is what makes it into the old Samuel French acting editions kind of thing.
mm,
And I asked her, I said, is as a director, do I is are stage directions as much kind of needing to be sacred as the lines are? Like, I would never cut your lines. I would never want to, change your play in the respect of what it is that you have written. But do I need this? Do I need that? Do I have to have that? And she said, this is just for her. Um, no, you don't have to. If I've written a couch in a play and you don't want to have a couch, you can get rid of the couch, but there has to be couchness there because that is written into the scene. And I always loved the specificity and
mm,
ambiguity of that statement of going, right, of course you have made this a naturalistic play that takes place in a dining room table in a kitchen. I don't have to do that, but that atmosphere must exist. That's what you're calling for. The specific, unless you are saying very specifically, it's a very specific type of china and a very specific type of porcelain and a very specific type of fork, then that's storytelling. But beyond that, then it just becomes atmosphere. It becomes, I need you to understand what it feels like to be in a kitchen in the 1970s. I need you to understand what it feels like to be in an office building in the 1980s. I need you to understand what it feels like. That is a very different thing. That objects can help to tell that story for. But do I need all of those things? What's the least amount of information to get that atmosphere there? What's the least amount of information that I need, the least amount of objects that can tell that story? That's where I always kind of it started as a budget constraint, but then it became an aesthetic of just going like, I don't need a fax machine and a desk and a rolling chair and a keyboard and a typewriter and a stapler and a post-it note and a paperclip. What do I need? I need a cubicle, and then the mind will fill in the rest.
mm.
Maybe.
So that was your Glengarry Glen Ross.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Just a cubicle.
Just a cubicle. I just need a stapler. That's all I need. I can tell a story with just a stapler.
Um, so do you have any stories about when an object has taken over a performance?
Oof.
I think I have one, but it's not
Good,
my
go,
story.
because
But it's a funny story.
do it, because I
It's not
can't
my
think of
story.
anything
It's
right
it's
now.
actually it's actually it's actually one of our company members,
Okay.
Emily Moeller. She was she told me she was doing this is years ago. Well, we're Emily and I are long in the tooth, so she'll kill me for saying this.
Back in the
But
40s,
back in the 40s, funny enough, the play was written in the 40s. It was the female version of The Odd Couple.
that's not written in the 40s, it's written in the
I
60s.
know, I know, but it feels like it. It feels like the 40s.
Yeah.
Um, but it was the female version of The Odd Couple, and she has there's a whole bit with the phone. And so she's supposed to be like um answering or hanging up the phone, like but there has to be a cue for the phone to ring. And apparently the stage manager fell asleep
Yeah.
in the booth.
Yeah.
And so she's waiting on the phone for the phone to ring, and it never rings. So then she just picks up the phone and starts talking, and then the phone rings. While she has the phone in her hand and talking on the phone. So let's break this down. Let's break this down. Is that phone necessary? Or is that cue necessary? I think the cue is unnecessary. Is that stage manager necessary?
That stage manager clearly was not necessary, because the play went on without them. Um, well, the phone
Is
is
this a conundrum, an object conundrum, or is it just a funny
no.
story?
It's a funny story, yes, but I think the phone is necessary, because without the phone, that next conversation doesn't happen. There is dramaturgical information that is only gotten from the phone call.
Right.
I am no. Oh, I am getting telepathically sent information in my head right now. That's not going to work. It needs a phone call. It needs you need a door. You need a chair. You need.
I think the next thing that happened was that the phone started ringing. She tried to hang up the phone, and the phone kept ringing. So
Well, then it
she's
becomes a bit. So then it
beating,
works. Yeah, that's great.
she's like beating the phone with the handle of the phone to stop the phone from ringing. And then the stage manager found it.
So
Oh.
it becomes a bit. It's a meta theatrical bit. It's great. You take a mistake and you turn it into a joke. It's great. It works.
And
I
I'm sure
can't.
I bastardized that story. Emily will tell it much better. Make sure you ask her like the actual story when we have our next
Yeah.
meeting.
I'm trying to again. I'm still trying to think of if there's something that where a prop is taken over. I can't
I can
think. I
give you
can't.
a perfect one. I can give, and
Okay.
so now this is so food.
Okay.
Is food an object?
Yes. Yes. I think so.
Do you know what drives me crazy?
Not getting food into play. Me too. I want more food in plays.
Not getting food to play and bad food eating acting.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought you meant to the audience. I thought you meant like getting
That's
food to the
no,
audience.
but
That's
that's when the object takes over, right? When people are, "Mm, I'm really
Oh,
it's
okay,
like
okay, okay, okay.
really,
Now I've got it. Now I know where you're going with this. Okay, where
right?
where does an object take over a scene? When you're folding laundry and you keep going in the scene and you have to keep refolding the laundry. That's when it takes
Uh
over. When your task, when your object isn't a
oh, when
committed
you're folding
task.
laundry and you don't fold the fucking laundry.
Yeah. Or you keep unfolding it so that you can refold it again. Nobody does that.
Look,
Nobody refolds their laundry. They want their laundry to be done and out of the way.
and I don't know, and usually, but see, what happens to me is that usually that the folding of the laundry needs to be connected to how that character folds laundry. For some reason, most characters don't know how to fold laundry.
Yeah, exactly. Most characters are not paying attention to the folding of the laundry. They're doing a shitty job, and then they notice they do a shitty job, so they continue to do a shitty job. That's that's bad acting right there. That's where the object is taken
Bad,
over.
bad, 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 bad acting.
I had
Uh,
I'll talk about my acting class that I had this week. Uh,
oh
they were
no.
doing they're doing Angels in America, and they're doing the Harper and Joe scene where he's come home and she's trying to clean up the apartment for him, and so the actress is just kind of like taking a rag and just kind of like beating it against things, and then she goes over to like a chair. She goes over to a chair and just kind of like brushes off, and I go, "Stop! What's wrong with the chair? You just brushed off a lint from the side of the chair. Is the chair dusty?" All I literally all I could think of was like, have you
In
never
Cairo,
cleaned?
but Cairo's
Well,
dusty.
yes, it is,
It's
but
dusty.
the level of like think about what you're doing. Think about is if your
But
if your
she's not in
chairs are
Cairo. She's in New
dusty,
York. It might be
right?
dusty in New
Exactly.
York too.
Yeah, but it basically showed no, she wasn't dedicated to her task. She was performing the task in quotes. Like I'm not going to clean. I'm going to perform cleaning. And the objects don't lie. Like that's it's not. I am not dirty. I am not covered
This
in
whole
dust. I
thing
am
about
not.
performing, I feel like maybe is this what our elders went through? I just feel like the whole concept of okay, so this is already another podcast because we're talking about performative versus theatrical, and I
Hmm.
think that gets mixed up. People
Yeah.
think that like being performative is being theatrical,
No.
and then when we're within the filter of what we're talking about with objects that you're performing with, and what you're doing is performative. The object has no meaning. The
Yeah.
object is just an external thing.
Yeah.
But theatrical means that it has hyper reality.
Right.
It has full meaning.
Yeah.
And then some because you have to get the meaning energetically to an audience that's in the room, that's in the space, that's live.
My best example of this is when Romeo Castellucci uses babies or animals on his stage, and he has then performers also there. And it's that thing of like, if you try to perform against an animal or a baby, you lose. You look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You become an
Yeah.
object. Versus theatrical of going, they're real. I need to be hyper to counter that, to kind of stand above that, to move past that, to shine brighter than that thing. And it's one of those
Mm-hmm.
things where like, and it's the thing that I always talk about when an accident happens. If you're not alive when that happens, that thing becomes the focus. If you spill water but you don't clean it up, or there's a feather
Uh,
floating across the floor, that has my focus
uh,
because you're not alive to
a drop
react to
prop
it.
that everyone walks around.
All the like literally like giant steps over so that to avoid stepping on it. Yeah. Then that's what I'm watching. I am watching that thing.
And I think that also comes back to that naturalism question. So we have naturalism, performative, and theatrical.
Theatrical. Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny because objects can live in all three of those spaces, and the objects real. And I think that's a challenge for um, actors who do a lot of theater in the realm of the performative
Mm,
as opposed to being theatrical
mm-hmm.
when they get in front of a camera.
Mm,
That because theatricality actually translates
yeah.
on camera.
Yeah.
It actually does. Performative doesn't translate in either of the mediums.
Yeah.
It just gets amplified
Yeah.
on camera. I just figured that out. We just solved the problems of the universe just through objects. Look at that.
There you go.
All the problems with acting, all your problems with theater, all your problems with acting. It's those three.
Just don't do that anymore. You'll be fine.
Just don't do that anymore. Don't perform.
Don't perform.
Don't perform, please. It's interesting because the things that end up being the most interesting are when people don't know what to do next, and there's a pause, and then life comes in.
Yeah. What happens when your object breaks? Do you just try and hold it together and pretend like it didn't happen?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Or do you show some emotion of like, fucking hell, this thing's broke.
Yeah,
It's a very important thing. What do I do here? Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. It makes me think, oh my god, I just had a flashback of that one audition we had together. Remember when I had just come back from the hospital for
Which
my
one?
appendix being burst? You're like, which hospital visit?
No, I block out all auditions.
Do you remember? I'm not gonna say where, and I'm not gonna say what. I'm just gonna say, do you remember when I was so exhausted from? I had to go to the. I had to be at the audition, um, because we were doing auditions for school, and I just come back from my appendix operation, and had been in the hospital for a week. Remember, and I was still really weak, and so I didn't have a filter for like.
Yeah.
You
Is
remember
this
now?
the roller coaster audition?
Yes, this is the
Yeah, of
roller
course.
coaster.
Yeah. This is the only one that I remember. I
This is
block
the
out
roller
all other
coaster.
auditions.
This is the roller
Yeah.
coaster. What was the roller coaster audition? Was there an object? There was a chair. There was a chair.
There's a chair.
Yeah. What was the roller coaster audition, Adam?
I don't even remember again an object the object took over the piece. I don't remember what the monologue even was, but I remember we both got sick watching it.
Ah!
We both oh,
No, but that was one of my that wasn't one of my brightest moments. I couldn't be the healer lover in that in that moment. I was because I was weak.
yeah,
I was weak. And
you
that's
burst out. You
I did.
you
I did,
but
and
that's what you
and they,
said.
and they thought yeah they thought that I was laughing because they were funny,
Yeah,
and I was laughing at
at
the
them.
no, not at them, at the situation that was just made no sense.
Yeah.
It wasn't at them. The situation that made no sense. I'm just really sensitive. That goes back to what we talked about early in other podcasts. It's like if you invite me to a show, you better be showing up on stage. You know
If
what I
you
mean?
invite me, if you invite me to something, it better be good because I'll let you know afterwards if it was bad.
No, no, no. It's not that. Well, have some, have some, have some courtesy. I get why people take. I get why people do work as an actor because they want to get paid. But you don't have to invite me to everything,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You don't have to invite me to everything. I will still love you if you don't invite me. And if you do invite me, I'm going to give you 100% of me. I'm going to be there. I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if what you're doing hurts my body, then we got a problem. I'm sensitive. I could barely have a ponytail in my head for a whole podcast. I'm very sensitive.
It's true. You're a delicate flower.
I am a delicate. I'm a black rose.
Yep. True facts.
I'm your black rose, Adam.
All right. Cool. Thanks. Great.
That's it.
um, awesome. Yeah, you are. You go, girl. I don't What is the response? What is the response to somebody telling you, "I'm your black rose"? Sweet. I don't know the
That
I don't
is
know
the-
the I don't know the socially acceptable response to that. I don't know.
You go, girl.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Adam. I think it's time. I think it's time for a break.
All right. Cool.
Because I don't think you've ever meant more to me than in that last moment.
Hey, I'm so glad. After 14 years, finally. I mean, so I'm in your heart now. Like, finally, I've solidified my place in your life with that comment.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary conforming individuals, you are listening to the stereo sounds of JDB. Wow, Jack. You always know what mood we're in. You always know how to
Exactly.
set the mood.
Yeah. You read the
You are
room very well.
you are a mood setter.
Mm-hmm. You're a trendsetter.
Oh my god, trendsetter. Trend alert. Okay. You go, girl. Jack, you go, girl.
You go, girl. Yeah. 3 snaps for that. You go, girl.
I'm gonna pass out. I can't breathe. Ah! Wow. The like I said, resistance is futile. You will be assimilated.
That's right.
And that is why you're invited to the barbecue. And that
Thanks.
is why.
Thank you. Thank you. I accept this position. I don't accept this position lightly. I appreciate the invitation. I will RSVP yes, and I will show up with
Hallelujah.
with potato salad.
Wait a minute. Don't bring that white potato salad.
No, 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 no. Of course not.
What's in your potato salad?
Everything.
Hold on. Before I invite you to the barbecue, I need to know what's in the potato salad. What's in the potato salad?
I mean, I use more condiments than mayonnaise and salt. There's I've got probably bacon, according to the dietary results of people that I know are going to be there, whether I have that or not. I might have, it'll be mustard base. There will be some mayonnaise inside of it. I like to use Brussels sprouts. So you kind of roast the Brussels
Now,
sprouts.
you
And
know
put that
black people
inside.
don't eat Brussels sprouts, but I'll eat it.
Well, that's a bold statement for an entire group of people. Black people
Not in no
don't
potato
eat Brussels
salad.
sprouts.
Not in no potato. Black listeners, I want to apologize for the next versions of this potato salad. This white man is going to be bringing up in the house. Is it paprika? You got paprika in it?
Sure.
Don't put no fruit in it,
What? Ew. I'm not
and
doing
no
ambrosia.
raisins, and
Ew,
no
no.
raisins.
It needs a crunch. That's what the Brussels sprouts are there for. You roast the Brussels sprouts, you get a little bit of a crunch in there. You got the creaminess, you got the cool, you got a little bit of, you got to put the paprika, you get a little bit of spice in there. You got to go for the whole entire mouth.
Now, my family would eat that, but not now.
But your family's not black, so they don't count.
It's
Because
mixed.
African Americans don't eat Brussels sprouts. That's what you just
African Americans.
said.
African Americans don't eat Brussels sprouts.
Exactly. No. Racist. with
I
such
used to,
with such vehemence, you said that African Americans don't eat Brussels sprouts.
It's not on the menu. It's
I asked the.
It's slave food, Adam. They didn't give the slaves Brussels sprouts. They give them potatoes. They gave them mayonnaise, they gave them paprika, and they gave them mustard, some onions.
And apparently raisins, because I've never heard of raisins in a
No,
potato salad.
that's white potato. That's what white people put in a potato salad.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I am white presenting. I have never seen a raisin in a potato
You go,
salad at
girl.
any family gathering of my white brethren. I've never seen a raisin anywhere near a potato salad. We've lost
Now,
it.
is
We are
potato
off the
salad an
rails.
object? Is potato salad an object?
It depends on how you use it. Is it there in the background? Is it there in the background full of raisins? Then it's just scenery. If, however, if it's in your body, it is now costume. But if it's on your plate and you are interacting with it and you're pushing these Brussels sprouts out because you're African American, then it becomes a prop. It becomes an object.
It's better to push them out than to spit them out in a napkin.
It's true. It's true.
Because I am a lady. May I please have a paper bag and a straw?
Indeed.
You go, girl. Okay, Adam, do you have any provocations?
Don't listen to anything that we say. Basically, is my provocation. God, I was thinking. Okay. Back to theater and seriousness. Theater, objects. I was thinking. Try to do this into this imaginary exercise for yourself. This intellectual exercise for yourself. Try and think of your favorite plays and see if you can winnow it down to one prop, one object. You know, obviously we said Hamlet, and the most iconic thing is that skull at the gravedigger scene, and it's so like it's so late in the play, and it so has nothing to do with the actual action of what he's doing, the plot, but everybody knows that skull. Think of other plays and what that one object is, and what that story that it is telling, and why it has lasted so long. Why has it become a mnemonic device for us, for those plays, for those things? Film to a lesser extent does this. I mean, there are obviously films where it is about an object. I think of Pulp Fiction and that, and Reservoir Dogs as well. That suitcase, or the Maltese Falcon, or there are other objects that are very thing, but they're so kind of like, they're usually not ambiguous. I mean, the suitcase in Pulp Fiction is ambiguous, what's inside of it, but a lot of them
It shines in your face, whatever's in it.
Yeah, but so many objects in film and television, there's such an isness to it. It is that thing. It doesn't represent anything else. But in theater, these objects usually represent something larger. They're more of a philosophical conversation, which is why they've lasted in our minds. So just thinking, as you're reading a play, as you're going through things, as you're working on things, if you only had the budget for one object, what would you spend that money on? What is the quintessence of this play in an object form? That's what I'm just thinking about.
Is the tree in Waiting for Godot an object or a prop?
I'd say it's set.
It's set, right?
It's set, yeah.
No one swings from it. No one interacts with it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't change it. It is. You have to have a tree. You can't change it. But I would say either the bowler hats or the shoe is a prop, is an object in the play, because it is used, because there's so much information around it. It defines. I mean, those bowler hats define those two characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my provocation is when you have to use an object as an actor, how do you endow it? And what behavior does the object elicit from you as this character? The object is there to create behavior as well. So, when I look at my computer, I have a completely different response to when I look at the microphone for this podcast. Like, every object in my life has so much meaning in so many different ways. So when you actually have an object, notice if you've done the work with it, or is it just something that just like because it drives me crazy when someone has a gun on stage and they don't know how to hold a gun. They're not afraid of the gun. They had this, yeah. It just drives me crazy, And it was a huge challenge for Singaporeans because they haven't touched
They
guns, and
never
it's a
interacted with
huge
a
challenge
gun.
for Australians as well. When
Yeah.
I'm like, you have a gun, like, I don't want to hold the gun, So if you have to hold a gun, learn to have a relationship with why you have a gun.
Mm.
Don't just pick it up because your character has a gun. It's just it's like bad eating. Or when people are like talking while they're eating. Who talks while they're eating? Who? It's like, what's more important, eating or
Yeah.
what you have to say?
Right.
Usually, what you have to say is more important than eating.
And you would stop the
And
eating so that you could say it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
usually, stopping eating means that, like, because this is the thing. Okay, I got to help y'all out. You know, when you're performing and you're eating, think about it this way: when you're in real life eating and talking to someone, when the conversation becomes more interesting, do you keep eating? When a conversation isn't interesting, then you probably start eating.
Mm.
And then that's where the object gets in the way of the communicate and being caught off guard. Then it becomes an obstacle.
Hmm.
What's an obstacle, Adam?
Anything that gets in the way of you getting your goal.
Yeah. So that's my provocation. See how you actually endow the objects in your work when you're performing. Have you done the work? Have you done the work? Is there behavior? Adam Marple, how will we know that they did this?
They're going to go to speakpipe.com/theater of others. Again, they're going to go to
Mm.
speakpipe.com/theater of others, theater with an R-E, theater of others, all one word. You can leave a 90-second voice message. We'll play it on air. We're
Mm-hmm.
so happy to hear from our listeners about any topics, questions,
Yes,
provocations, or
very true.
shared stories with us. You can also go to podcast at theaterofothers.com. Uh,
Mm.
Longer ways of getting in touch with us and prompting us with stories or ideas. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, and our
We on the
website.
gram, y'all.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And we come to your inbox every single week. But the only way you're going to know about this is if you do what, Booty?
Subscribe, 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 subscribe. We know if you subscribed or not because you haven't heard every single episode because we come to you week. We come to you. Rain,
True fact.
sleet, snow, the drought, drizzle, earthquake, tsunami,
Don't know why that would
edamame,
affect. Don't know why any of those would affect recording, but okay, sure, yeah, exactly. We come with
blackout,
all.
whiteout.
There we go. Those affect us, unfortunately. That's affected the podcast many times.
And no, but if you really like us, you should do like my Uber driver. Oh my goodness. Did you see my Uber scores?
It's a pretty good score, isn't it?
Yeah. So what you need to do is you need to give us 5 stars. You give me 5 stars, I give you 5 stars. It's a win game. It's a win game. And if you like us even more than just 5 stars, you can give us a
6 stars.
comment. Give us 6 stars. Give us an extra star. And you can
Yeah.
give us an extra star in the comments. You can say, I love this podcast so much. I want to give it 6 stars, but that wasn't available. So I'm leaving this comment. This podcast gets 6 stars. And that will help us with our algorithms, because we mix it up and we are the top 5% podcast in the universe.
True
I'm
fact.
assuming there's no podcasts in other galaxies.
We don't know. We don't know for a fact. But
We don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
but until we're proven
So,
otherwise, we will continue to say it.
yes, that's true. And you should never assume because it makes an ass out of me and you.
Mhm.
Yes, yes,
I,
yes.
I love that your dyslexic brain just reversed the lettering You make an ass out of you and me, not an ass out of me and you. Your dyslexic brain just reversed it, and it came out of your mouth anyway.
Never assume. It makes an ass out of me, and it makes another ass out of me, telling you that it's you and me having some ass.
Never,
Girl.
never as
You
me.
go, girl. You go, girl. You go,
go,
girl.
3 snaps for you.
I love you, Adam.
Oh,
You're the
Budi, you're all
best.
that. You're all that in a bag of chips.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you'll see me every week.
Hallelujah.
Forever.
Dun, 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 dun.
Practicing
And
your
for the
horror
rest
film.
of y'all, if you're still with us, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Theater Brothers podcast. Make sure to visit our website, theaterbrothers.org, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. A special thank you to Purple Planet for the music you've heard. The Theater Brothers creates a shared community of artists and audiences for the purposes of exploring the most profound issues of our lives and times. We believe the play watches the audience. The audience is necessary, and they are witness to what happens. And you get to be witness to us making that happen. The purpose of this podcast is to open up our process and let you in. We're peeling back the curtain, so to speak, and encouraging you to follow along, to ponder, prod, and question. To join us and criticize us if need be. Being a witness is no passive task and requires much from you. Are you up for the journey? Be sure to tune in next week for our next journey.